Hello, Taurus. How are you doing out there? I'm going to try my best to speak up and speak clearly. I know sometimes I can get a little low. I used to be so loud when I was younger. Understand where that came from. Thank you for that, Spirit. However, we're going to use the Kipper. We're going to use this Love Oracle deck. Then we're going to move on to the Tarot and see what's going on, okay? This one, if it resonates, I may pick up your energy, your partner's energy, or somebody around your energy. So just take what resonates and leave the rest. Share the video. Somebody else might be able to utilize the information. Pay it forward. Alright, guys, hit that like button. Do me that solid favor. It would really help me to get through the algorithm, and I appreciate it so much for all of you guys that do that. That really, assist me in this process. You are so appreciated. Thank you. Alright, guys, hit that notifications for all so you don't miss out on any of my videos too. Okay, one to come out the deck. Ready, Spirit is ready. Toil and labor. Now, toil and labor consists of this, and you putting in the effort to make this relationship grow, or maybe you even overburdened. We're going to figure out exactly what the cards are trying to tell us after we get to the tarot, okay? Just going to give you a little brief synopsis on each card as we just move along, okay? So you can follow along. Okay, the next card out is imprisonment. Now, you may be imprisoned by this toil and labor, This can also consist of your thoughts, You could also see yourself as having no way out, A lot of these situations does take a means of finance to, get ourselves out of some of these situations. So I'm not going to leave that, unrecognized. So I know sometimes it's not so easy to get out some of these relationships, for various reasons. So I do understand that. And again, that's probably why toil and labor is showing up, Listen, I do get it. Sometimes you have to make that exit plan, strategize, see how you're going to do these things. Alright, here's one more. Any good news, Spirit? Okay, so I see at the end of this tough period, I do see a new courtship coming your way. I do see that. So we're going to sit these up here so you can see them. Of course, the first card is toil and labor, imprisonment, and courtship, okay? Woo. Alright, let's see what these cards going to bring out. Alright, we just need 3 from here. Tell us a little bit about this toil and labor, Spirit. If you will, if you please. Okay, I can't stop thinking about you. Now, this can be the toil and labor in your mind, Now, this could be your partner, too. Now, if some of you guys are in a relationship, of course, this could apply to you. But this can have something to do with a past relationship as well, okay? Let me see if I can turn it around so these things can hold up here. Now tell us about imprisonment. And emotions are overwhelming me. supposed to say overwhelming me with. Okay, emotions overwhelming. Okay, that's right. Some of these cards do have typos. So now, wow, you're imprisoned by your emotions. Now, boo. Now, if this is relating to, wow, that sounds very codependent, boo. I'm just gonna say it. You know, I'm ask the ancestors to let me say this with compassion and empathy. You know, so I don't seem so judgmental. But yeah, that sounds very codependent, and especially if you're imprisoned by your emotions. Wow. And this also makes me think about, you know, not having the ability to be assertive with your emotions. I mean, in a relationship, you have to be vulnerable and let yourself go so that your partner could get to understand you, know you. You know, there is a such thing as a closed mouth don't get fed. So you want to keep that in mind, boo. You got to open up. You know, sometimes we have fear of allowing our emotions to be shown because will you love me if I tell you who I really am and I show you who I really am? Will I be rejected? You know, so you have to think about those things too, boo. If you want to get to the other side and if you really want to find your true connection and your soulmate, you have to be able to be totally honest and let yourself go and let your guards down to open up, you know. And if this has something to do with a past relationship, toil and labor, and this is in your mind, imprisonment in your mind, I can't stop thinking about you. Whew, that's a lot. That's a lot, boo. And that's what you're putting out into the universe. You understand what I'm saying? And you have to let that mindset go and understand that you're going to be okay by yourself. The first step is to loving yourself and letting these thoughts go, whatever they are. Now, emotions overwhelm me. Now, this may have something to do with your inner child, you know? And sometimes when our relationships fail, this is the reason why, you know? Now, for the most part, I do see some of you guys getting over this because it do looks like a new courtship is coming into play. But I really would hope that you would not take off this baggage into that relationship because you're going to find yourself right back in this situation here. One did want to come out, but there you go. Alright, so how could I ever forgive the mess I've made? Wow. Did I just say that? Didn't I just say that? If you take all that baggage into the next relationship, it's going to fail. And it's saying, how could I ever forgive the mess I've made? You have to forgive the mess you made and understand that these past relationships were just a lesson so that when you get into your divine connection, it can be a success. So you can learn from those experiences. And at the bottom of the deck is painful memories. Now, a lot of these memories stem from your childhood and the things that you were programmed to believe about yourself in your adolescent age. And this is why Source tells us so that we need to get in touch with those inner child memories and delete them and begin to reprogram our minds to speak affirmations and to speak love into ourselves. Wow. I didn't think that this was going to be like this right here. I thought it was really going to come out with something that was more appeasing. I do hope that you will listen to the message into its entirety, because even if this isn't about you necessarily, if there's something that you're going to be able to take away from this, if you're in a relationship right now that you may need to be aware of. So that was my intent when I did, ask the angels and ancestors to come down and assist me through this message. Now let's go spirit. I think I start out with this deck first. Now we're gonna move on to the tarot and see what's going on. Tell us about this toil and labor, and I can't stop thinking about it. Okay, we're gonna take the two that's face down. The moon and the star. Now the moon is all, wow. Spirit, speak to me. Now the moon is all about, things not seen, secrets, illusions. And it came out with the star card. And it's going to all go back to, wow, this is the moon and the star. This is just amazing. That you need to really tap in to your intuitions at this time. And really understand that you are a star. And that you can change your circumstances. You got to break the illusion of whatever this is. Because sometimes we fall in love what we want the person to be rather than what they truly are. Believe when a person is telling you who they are by their actions, not their words. You are here on a mission, boo. You are here to have a human experience and learn from them, to elevate yourself so that you can graduate and move on to the next level. You are here to be a light worker, to shed your light. And you can't shed your light if you're in such a dim state of mind. You really got to get out of that. Now, I don't know if this may be about your partner, but if you're in a relationship with somebody like that, that's why it's an epic fail. Alright, tell us about imprisonment and emotions overwhelming. Now this is the King of Wands. Now the King of Wands is all about, creating new adventures and being very solid, career driven. So it seems to me that you're more concerned with your career. It's like you have a detachment and fear of attachments. Yeah. Alright, give us one. Well, we're going to come back and clarify that some more. But tell us about this courtship and how could I ever forgive the mess I've made. Now, it looks like you're going to have a strong foundation. So I really see a lot of you guys overcoming this trauma. I also see some of you actually sabotaging this as well. If you bring this mess into a new relationship, because it looks like you can have something really solid if you do the work on yourself and address that shadow side of yourself. You know, I think it's a lot of forgiveness that you have to do to yourself, because you be up late at night or in your head a lot about past painful memories. Wow. Now, it was so funny I pulled that around, because it says the heat between us is intense and the wands is very passionate. And that is really lining up with this King of Wands and the emotions overwhelming, imprisonment. So listen, you might be imprisoned by your sexual desires and thinking that, and mistaking that passion for love. A lot of people do that. And I just have to put it out there, because you can't mistake the two. And don't you know, when you're in those type of relationship, when it's just built on sex and lust, that you feel so empty at the end of the day, because when that instant gratification is over, you feel so used and abused and, lonelier than ever. Don't you? And it's saying, I want to be different. And all I can do say is be different and take control over your body. And clean up all those soul ties if you have any. Give your body some time to purge itself out. And break those soul ties, Ain't nothing wrong with being celibate for a little bit, boo. So you can gather your emotions. That's the first. Let me tell you something. Listen, if that won't teach you how to love yourself, and I'm not saying go out here and buy toys and all that things, but listen, if that's what you do, that's what you do. Listen, I'm not promoting that. But that's the first thing. The first step is loving yourself. Once you start to love yourself and be okay with being with just you, things will become a lot better. You will have more respect for yourself, and people will respect you more. You think you're going out here, listen, that night of one is showing right on up again. I'm telling you, I can't stop. This is very sexual, and this is why it's lining up with the illusion and the labor and the toil and labor of it all. Yeah, and that's that instant gratification with that star and the illusion of what you want it to be. Now, I don't know who this is for. But it's for somebody. Let me tell you something. If you're in relationships and they built on sex, that is just an epic fail. Yes, it is. Now, these three cards came out now. That's too many. Now you got the will in the reverse. Now that seems like, now the wheel talks about, in the upright talks about, wheels turning in your favor and karmic debt being paid of that nature. And this is why I'm telling you that you need to release some of those soul ties. That's karmic debt. Don't you know all the people that you connect with on that connection, that you bring on their soul connections? So all the people that they've been with, you've been with. And wonder why your personality and your behavior is shot out and changing, and you don't understand where these new emotions and characteristics are coming from. That's those soul connections, boo. And that's probably why you're so overwhelmed and felt imprisoned by what's going on with you. That's why you have to purge your body. Wow. I didn't think this was going to come out like this. Now you got Five of Pentacles coming out in reverse. Now this is just telling you, boo, this is Source way of talking to you, that you don't have to feel like this anymore. But you can't take all this into this new union that you got going on, or that's coming up for you, because this is in the future. Past, present, future. You gotta let it go. You gotta listen. She got all that baggage with her, but you need to drop that baggage off, boo. And this is all in your mind. This is all these past relationships that you had. All that childhood trauma. Listen, everybody's childhood is different, so I'm not even gonna go into that. You know what those situations were. But you got to somehow learn to release that stuff so that you can have your happy ever after. I know a lot of people think that they don't think about their childhood trauma, but yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. It show up every day in your daily life, whether you see it or not. It's how you react to people. It's how you engage with people. It's how your relationships are. It's how you, listen, it's how you move about the country. It's how you engage with your friends. Yet if you got toxic friends, honey, let me tell you something. All the energy attached to you. When you're around all that negative, karmic stuff, it attaches. It's birds of a feather flock together. You ever notice when you go into a job and it has a certain type of culture, and you came in one way, but somehow at the end of the week or month or two, that you begin to take on the characteristics of everybody around you in that facility? You can think about different entities out here. Let's just take the police force, for example. Everybody want to go on a job to protect, serve, and what happens? What happens? They take on the culture, right? No matter what the race is, it's the culture of it. You think about the correction facilities in these places. What characteristics do they take on? Just look it up. If you don't believe what I'm saying, they take on it. And what they say about lawyers and probation, they all in cahoots with it together. It's all a system of corruption, and they take on the characteristics of it. And some of these times it's these jobs that attach to you and you bring home to your relationships. There's a lot of things to this that really jeopardize the success of your happiness. So, I'm gonna leave this here because this was a lot. But it's just something to think about. And listen, if you want to be different, you got to make the change. It's all up to you, boo. Alright, that's your message.